Israelites again did what was evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines for 40 years. There was a certain man from Zorah, from the family of Dan, whose name was Manoah. His wife was unable to conceive and had no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her,
"You're gonna have a baby. You're gonna have a little boy. And this boy is gonna be a Nazarite, so you can't cut his hair or give him strong drink. You're gonna basically have to pamper this little kid. He can't touch nothing unclean. And the Lord's gonna use him to deliver Israel. Woohoo!"
So the woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson. The boy grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol. Samson went down to Timnah with his father and mother and came to the vineyard of Timnah. Suddenly a young lion came roaring at him, and the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully on him, and he tore the lion apart with his bare hands as he might have torn a young goat. But he did not tell his father or mother. Samson was in love with this girl from Timnah, so they wanted to get married. Samson asked them a question. "Let me tell you a riddle. If you can't explain it to me during the 7 days of this feast and figure it out, I'll give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes. But if you can't explain it to me, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes." So after 3 days, they were unable to explain the riddle. So Samson's wife came to him weeping and said, "You hate me! Why won't you give me the answer to your riddle?" So Samson explained to her the answer to the riddle because she cried for 7 days. So she explained it to her people, and on the 7th day before sunset, the men of the city said to him, "What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?" So the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully on him, and he went down to Ashkelon and killed 30 of their men. He stripped them and gave their clothes to those who had explained the riddle. "They're your stinking clothes!" So one day the people from Israel came to Samson and said, "Don't you know the Philistines are in charge? We need to tie you up and hand you over to them." So Samson said, "Promise not to hurt me or kill me yourselves." They said, "Okay." So after the Philistines handed him over, Samson broke the ropes and started beating everybody up with the jawbone of a donkey. Sometime later, Samson fell in love with a girl named Delilah. The Philistines came to Delilah and offered her money to figure out the secret to Samson's great strength. "Oh man, look at these jaw muscles. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Oh, big muscles." So Delilah came to Samson and said,
"So, what's the secret of your strength?" "Oh, come on, you can tell me. Come on, tell me this time. Come on, tell me, please."
Tie me with leather thongs. I meant ropes. I meant to say ropes. She tried it, and that didn't work, so she came back, and she said, "Oh, come on, tell me." And he said, "You gotta, weave my hair into, a weaver's thing." So she tried that again, and that didn't work either. So she came back and said,
"Come on, you gotta tell me the truth."
So Samson finally said, "Well, you gotta shave my head. Are you happy now?" Jeez. So in the middle of the night, they shaved Samson's head. And when he woke up the next day and tried to break the ropes, they couldn't do it. And Samson was captured, and they plucked out his eyes and took him into slavery. They made Samson use what little strength he had left to grind at the mill. Now the Philistine leaders gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to their god, Dagon. They rejoiced and said, "Our God has handed over our enemy Samson to us. Our God has handed over to us our enemy who destroyed our land and who multiplied our dead." Samson said to the young man who was leading him by the hand, "Lead me where I can feel the pillars supporting the temple so I can lean against them." The temple was full of men and women, and all the leaders of the Philistines were there. About 3,000 men and women were on the roof watching Samson entertain him. Samson called out to the Lord, "Lord God, please remember me and strengthen me just one more time. With one act of vengeance, let me pay back the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars supporting the temple and leaned against them, one on his right and one on his left. Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines," and he pushed with all his might, and the temple fell on the leaders and all the people in it. And Samson, at the end of his life, killed more than all the rest of the life, and the people were delivered.